Man, are we rolling? Can we pan the camera to my brother from another mother, Bryce Vine, fam? It's been too long, dude, but welcome back to New York City. Damn.
I feel welcomed back.
God.
By the rain and this foot injury I got going on, yeah.
A whole lot of life has been lived, bro, but still, before we press record and all the things, man, we're just reminiscing on, the fact that we still look the same, still have the same fervor for life, you know what I mean? We're still thriving collectively.
Still doesn't crack.
Still doesn't crack. Damn it, let's just say it. Black don't crack. But let's rewind time a bit, man, and let's reminisce about, where we started and where we've come thus far.
We met in 2019.
Yeah.
That was when I think Drew Barrymore was my first radio run.
Yeah.
Really, you were one of the first people I ever met. And I thought that made me think I didn't want to do this.
You're an asshole.
But no, we're just looking back on those photos. It's funny how 6 years you look back on your style and the things you were wearing and the vibe that you had, and you're like, I'm not even the same.
Not even the same.
That looks like me, but it's an imposter.
When you think about where your career has started, and anybody who knows the lore understands, man, that it went from 0 to 100 real quick. But now to find this as your passion, your life's work, and to continue to do it, continue to thrive, continue to hit the road and tour, man. How proud are yourself to have been thrust into this industry, to still continue to crush.
I have to focus on it more often, the gratitude part of it, because I'm just going a lot of times like a little Energizer bunny, and I don't realize it. I think parents are good for that.
Yeah.
They're like, we're so proud of you. I'm like, why? And then they remind you, there's a 1% chance that you're going to get anywhere in a business like this.
Yes.
So it's nice to even just be part of it and get to enjoy what I get to enjoy. It's fun.
As you think about where you were to where you are now, man, how has your sound evolved? Because you have become very just like poignant, just on the button with creating this like kind of 90s pop, hip hop, punk. There's a Bryce Vine sound, man, that you just nailed. But then you continue to challenge yourself. You continue to do new things. What is the difference between what I'm saying, where you were then and now? Where's the growth been? I guess is the way I want to get to it.
I mean, the things that are the same, I still hate making the same thing twice.
Yeah.
So it's always something I'm like, all right, I did that. I just want to make stuff that I would listen to when I was growing up and having experiences that I think a lot of my fans need soundtracks for.
Dope.
Seems like people want to feel good again.
Mm-hmm.
There was a while they wanted to feel cool, and then they wanted to feel kind of depressed, and now they want to feel good again. It goes in cycles. I think that's why country has become so popular.
Yeah. I like how you said, but also it's just for you to be a storyteller to that, for you to give people the opportunity to escape, to feel all those different emotions, bro. Did you ever think that it would be what you would be able to do for a living?
No, I passed that dream that I had as kind of a dumb little kid a long time ago, You just dream of, you have this really dumb idea of what it's like to make it doing what you love as a musician, and then you pass that point, and now there's this whole open new world of opportunities, and you could write for other people and help their career boost, and then things you don't see coming, like the TikTok boom and old songs from 30 years ago coming back to be even bigger now. It's cool that it's kind of a Russian roulette,
I feel you, yeah. That you never know. To be on that, the industry isn't a line. There's so many different ways to navigate.
No, there's nothing linear now.
Yeah.
At all. There's no one way to eat a Reese's or whatever.
Dude,
it's very cool.
What's so important for me to ask is, you know what I mean? Gosh, the way I kind of wrote it down is like, the road is crazy. What has been the dopest part of your journey for you?
It's just a lot of little moments, man. I think every artist, as they get, older, or they become more seasoned in their career, there's a period where you don't want to feel like you're doing the same thing that you were doing a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You really want to feel like you're growing as a person too. And that's where what I like is that I feel like I'm kind of navigating life the same way that I'm navigating a career, and just maturing with it instead of trying to hold on to something from, 4 or 5 years ago, and then, still where, like, we look back and I'm cool. I'm a completely different maturity level than I was 6 years ago, and I'm happy for that. What I was always afraid of becoming was a guy who would be like, still trying to do the 24-year-old version of himself later in life. And there's just so many avenues that you can go down with this stuff. And like I said, I just really like growing with it, with the career.
Those stories come to life in this most recent album, dude. We're talking Motel California, man. But here's one thing that has shown me it's a common thread, man. You're still writing songs with some very powerful, beautiful women as the titles, dude.
That'll never go away. It's too good.
Right.
Yeah, that's one through line for sure.
For sure. But I mean, it's the way that you have been able to integrate where you are now into this album. Why these stories now with this album?
I didn't really get to make the album that I intended to make the first time around. This is only my second full album, 6 years later. Who knew it would take that long? I did, because that's how long it takes me to do everything. But I had a hit before I had a full album or enough songs. Subtle flex. So I didn't really get to put it together how I wanted to. And then this last year, I realized for the first time that I could actually kind of sit still for a second and see what I wanted to do. I could never do that before. I didn't have the finances. I was living out of a room at a friend's house for like $200 a month or something like that, because I was sharing it with other people. I didn't have the same freedom that I had. I just had to get going. And now this album, I took the year to just write a bunch of songs that I would have wanted to listen to.
Yeah.
Through this whole journey, and it was like, okay, what's some windows down, fun stuff, makes me feel good, take me through some heartbreak, take me through some partying, that same tongue-in-cheek energy that I still enjoy in music and that I miss in some of the early 2000s and 90s vibes. So I just wanted to put it all as a collection together on one album so I can have it. And it's funny because you're always kind of a year ahead of wherever you release something.
Yeah.
So once that you release that, I'm like, cool. I have those songs. I love those songs. Motel California is great. Now what am I doing?
No, but when you connect, when you get to and when you got to tour this album and you saw the folks just really go ham and really dive into the lyrics, dive into the stories that you created for yourself and make them their own as a songwriter.
Well, that's a big difference too, man. It didn't have crowds to base it off of too.
Prior,
when you're writing songs, once you have done the tours and seen the fans come out for it, and you know what they love and you know what gets them energized and what they're yelling for, then you can kind of take that into account when you're writing the songs. Like, this is the part where they will do this, little experiment.
Dude, when you think, and I want to go back, how has the touring life been for you, man? I mean, is the writer set differently now? Do you put, what I'm saying? Is there, you've got to make sure that, Celsius, for me personally, like are you a fruit dude, a yogurt? Greek yogurt makes me fart, so I wouldn't put that on my writer, but I mean.
No, we'll have to cut that out of the interview for sure. We'll just stop it, Greek yogurt.
But like, how was the tour life been?
I think the writer has only gotten healthier.
Okay,
for sure. The tour life it's my favorite part of the job. It always has been. It's kind of what I dreamed of when I was younger. Just playing for fans, mosh pitting. I used to go to Warped Tour as a kid, and now I'm playing Warped Tour this year. But that was the fun part. That energy release, and it still is that. It's like once a year, no matter what I've gone through this last year, or what my city burning down It's you kind of get to shed all of that energy in one place with a room full of people that get who you are to an extent.
Heck yeah! I mean, they're
It's a
paying
form of
their
therapy.
we're paying our money to escape with you, to be on this journey with you. We're there to turn up, with you. And that's powerful, man, to know that you have that kind of an impact.
And you have to really not take it for granted, there's times where I'm like, I want bigger shows, and then I'm like, there's thousands of people that come out from wherever they are to see an artist. They wait through whatever the weather is. I go out in the winter.
Yeah.
So it's a trek to come see me. I tried not to charge too much for the tickets. That's a big deal, because you don't want them to feel insulted.
Yeah.
Speaking of feeling insulted, I went to Miami to visit my dad. I just bought a house there because
Congratulations on that, bro.
Thank you. I'm going off on a tangent, but this has been bothering me for a week now. My friend Kat was with me out there. It was like swim week, so we went to an event. They make you go put your name down on a list and accept you, and then it's just kind of a room full of people, just standing around.
Yeah. No vibe.
I ordered 3 drinks, me, her, and her friend. Just guess how much it was.
Yo, Miami prices, bro?
Okay, yes. I know.
Yeah.
$120.
Damn.
Then plus tip.
No.
That's insulting.
You're talking $1.50.
It's insulting. I'll never go back there.
Damn.
It's actually insulting. The worst part is that you feel inclined and that you have to tip everywhere you go now. It's because it's become the most gaslighting culture thing ever.
You've been here in the city a lot, and let's go down this path, because I had a conversation with a friend also about the fact that I was at a bodega, and I went and got all the stuff that I wanted to get, the chips or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? I was at this moment, I was like, oh, hell, all right. The gummy has kicked in now, whatever. I'm snacking. I do all the work. And on the tablet, it's still asking me to put the 20% tip to the person that all they did was boop, boop, boop. Why?
And if you guys are listening and this is one of you have this job, I'm sorry, but no, it's gaslighting.
Yeah, it very much is.
It really is.
So thank you for not being one of those artists that the purpose and the heart has always been there to perform, to be with. You've created this community, your tribe, and we're there to catch these vibes with you, and we'll continue to be. Matter of fact, well, you were talking Warped Tour, but aren't you going to be headed out with? I wrote it down here with American Authors, like in a couple of stops. Huh?
In a week.
Yeah.
Leaving. Yeah. So my birthday is Monday.
Yeah.
And then the next day we head out to Europe. I play for the military a lot.
Yeah.
And it's great because not only I respect them, and it takes me all around the world.
Yeah.
On the American dime. My own taxes too. But it's really cool. We got to go to Japan a couple years ago, to Okinawa and Tokyo, and now we're going to Hungary, Greece. No, not Greece. Hungary, Turkey, Kosovo, and Poland.
Dude.
Yeah.
When you think about your sound crossing, I mean, just the way that music is consumed across the globe now. When you were whipping around in the lift car before all this stuff really started to happen, did you ever imagine that your stories would be told in Kosovo?
I didn't know what Kosovo was. For sure. I didn't know that was a place, but no, man. No, it really is a blessing, and I appreciate the reminder of that. My dad he told me recently, and it's helped a lot, to, before I get out of bed now, just thank a bunch of people and things that have happened.
Yeah.
And even whatever God might be for you, just be grateful and pray for the people that you love, and their health. And it's made a big difference. Like, before I put my feet on the ground, there was a while where I really wasn't that grateful for everything that had happened, because I was so focused on getting more.
Yeah. No, understandable.
And moving forward and harping so much on that and comparing myself to other people's careers and successes when I had no business doing that or any idea what they went through to get it. And you got to really like pull yourself back down sometimes, There's this book called Ego is the Enemy, and I didn't even realize that I had one. I thought I was a pretty modest person, but internally I had all these feelings that I was like, that I wasn't getting my fair share of the pie.
I'm deserving of this because I was on the marquee of Radio City Music Hall just yesterday. So how come I'm not this, that, and the third?
Yeah, but no, that all still happened.
Yeah, very much so. And you should be proud of those moments. But it's really significant that you understand that that there was a lot of hard work for you to continue to do, and you did that hard work, and that's why we are sitting here now, some years later, almost a decade later, and you're still continuing to do it.
Don't say almost a decade.
Isn't that that's crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah, because when I think about like the things that I could have been doing, like I don't know, you were whipping around Lyft. I think just where my life and my career has gone. Like there was a point in time where I tried out to be a tennis, like a ball boy once.
I was gonna ask you what your thing was before this.
Yeah. And Chuck E. Cheese, bro. I don't know if we ever talked about that.
No, you worked at Chuck E. Cheese?
Dude, I was Chuck E. Cheese.
You were Chuck E. Cheese?
I was in San Diego,
Do people
California.
know this? Is this something you've talked about before?
I mean, very rarely, but only because you're my brother am I really saying this with the cameras rolling. Yeah.
You
When you say happy, we say birthday. Happy.
Birthday.
I did all that.
Wow.
It's so embarrassing, bro. But
the same warmth comes off your energy that probably would if I was a kid and you were at Chuck E. Cheese.
Dude, and that's why I'm grateful for the opportunity to be my truest self and to find an avenue where I get to express that inner child, that person that loves to connect the same way that, and I think that's why we've been friends, and I get the chance to be on this side of the mic and talk to so many amazing artists such as yourself, is like when you find that love, that inner love to just be your most authentic and truest self, we're going to sit here in another 6 years, bro. You know what I mean? I might catch up with you in Kosovo, damn it. Like, you know.
Please feel free to come out.
Like, for real, for real.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple things that have helped me kind of move forward in general, you know, as a person. One of them, I started school again, which is a scary thing.
Dog.
Because my greatest fear, I have reoccurring dreams for years and years that I'm back in a classroom the age that I am now, and everybody's turning in an assignment and I have no idea what's going on, and that's a reoccurring dream. So I was like, okay, it's time to make that a reality. For sure. So I had to, you know, paid a couple grand for this school that goes for like a year to teach you how to produce, like from the ground up. Because I always was able to produce, but I was never going to sit there and just actually, like, you know, go on YouTube on a plane to wherever I'm going to. Travel too much. And this makes it so I have to keep up with it because I'm paying for it. It's totally on me.
It's on you now.
And it was time to make that a reality. And you know what? It feels so good.
That's rad.
It feels so good to be a student again.
Yeah, that's rad as hell, bro.
I highly suggest it to people. I see why people go to school later in life and, you know, try to.
It's a reinvigoration. It's another thing that you're going to be able to tick off the box. It's another tool that you're going to be able to use when the next album is working. You get to put even more of yourself into that next project.
And a completely different stakes and a completely different age to understand the value of what you're learning than when I was like 18 reading Catcher in the Rye. Like, how am I supposed to not fall asleep? You know, and now it's like, oh no, this is valuable. I know exactly how it's valuable, and I could take it with me and feel good about the fact that I'm working towards something new. It's a great feeling. You know, it's just something to put out there.
No, 100. Man, we can sit here and drop these gems like for hours, man. I don't want to do that. I want to put a bow on the conversation and ask you, as 2025 is upon us, and it's super crazy for us to even think about that here we are in 2025. Gosh, what are you looking most forward to? You know what I mean? We're already looking at the 3-4 million monthly listeners and you know, traveling the world, but what are you most excited to share you know, of Bryce in 2025?
Motel California I was excited for. That's been in 2025.
Yeah.
It's just a good collection of songs, man. I feel really good about them. And now my focus has completely changed to, I want everyone to hit me up on Instagram or whatever if they have good music or they're trying to make good music and they just need a little bit of help. Like, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I would love to help other artists who are coming up, who have to compete with TikTok and a world that I'm so lucky I got to not have to compete with when I came up. Because they're not just competing with each other anymore, musicians. They're competing with every hot 25-year-old girl that can do this. You know,
Yeah.
you guys gotta compete
Yeah.
with that for attention. Oh my God! At least when I was coming up, it was just other artists,
Yeah.
and
Putting out their music and who
entertainers,
shines.
and now it's every kind of content.
Yeah.
So, and there's so much good talent out there that you can find, and I've seen. I'm like, I take little notes and I make little lists of all these artists I find on TikTok and stuff. I'm like, cool. When I'm done flying for a little while, I'm gonna hit up all these guys and try to help them, get to places because I can write everything.
Yeah.
And I love all kinds of music. So that's mostly what I'm looking forward to when I'm off the road, man.
Let's
It's just helping really good music get a bigger audience.
I'm going to bookmark this part of our conversation because that's something that I would curiously like to challenge myself to do. And to be able to call myself a collaborator with Bryce Vine would be pretty dope. Let's you know what I mean? Let's do it, bro. I mean, like, really.
Say less.
Yeah. Let's put
What's your
that.
artist name? Chuck E. Cheese?
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this right here.
You cut
is
me off?
my guy.
That was the cutoff?
Man, you're my bro, and I'm really so proud of where our friendship has grown from, man. The hug that before walking into the studio was one that I didn't know that I needed, man. Yeah, it feels right when it's coming from the right person, and you are that dude, man. So let's make sure that we get up and stay a little bit more connected in the future moving forward, bro. I think we deserve it.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. This is Bryce
Actually, I'm
Vine.
going to block your number, I think. Just to cut off out of this.